Akik még mindig itt vannak velünk, az a csodálatos és fantasztikus külföldi zsűrink, akiket felhívunk egy kis beszélgetésre.
Ide kötözzük őket egy székhez, beszélgetünk velük.
Pontosan.
Úgyhogy...
Szeretném jelezni a szememmel, hogy majd Kenszei, hozd már ide őket valamerre. Jöttök? Feljöttök? Szeretnétek feljönni?
Jönnek, úgyhogy egy kis pakolás, és akkor a külföldi zsűrinek az élménybeszámolóját és a kis történeteit hallhatjátok. Nem menjetek sehova, látom, hogy ott szöktök a terem végében.
Igen, nem akartok hallani a külföldi zsűrit?
Nem, borzasztó.
Pedig most láthatjátok, hogy végig volt zsűri.
Végig volt zsűri, és láthatjátok Stefánt, aki szerintem kb. Megfő ebben a Witcher ruhában, zseniális.
Stefán, már ketten legyeztük az előbb, hogy túlélje.
We are saying that you are hot in your cosplay there, and you are still surviving, and you are still with us, so they shouldn't leave.
Ezen kívül nagyon szeret a rajongóival konon összefutni és beszélgetni, úgyhogy ha sikerül elkapnotok még a szoros beosztás mellett, akkor bármikor váltvátok pár szót. És hétköznapinak írta le magát a bemutatkozásában, pedig hát mindenki cosplayer waifuja, ezt pontosan jól tudjuk. Rengeteg követővel rendelkezik, és most itt van velünk, és nagyon csinos ma is. Úgyhogy nagy tapsot Nana Kurornomának!
Többiek is feljöttek közben.
Bizonyám.
I see.
So we are still going to introduce you to...
Yes.
To the people.
You were really fast. We didn't have time to introduce you. Oh God. Na ezért durva egyébként ilyen játékokból cosplayelni, mert nincs az Isten, hogy le tudtok benne ülni.
De azért megoldottuk.
Meg. És a következő cosplay zsűrink, Aigue-Marine, itt már láttam a hölgy, ő 2004 óta cosplayezik, egy német cosplayes hölgy, mindenből, animéből, játékból, látjátok most a Castlevania-ból öltözött. Ki szereti a Castlevania-t? Imádom a Castlevania-t.
Castlevania
ez
valaki?
A Castlevania! Come on! Yes! Főként idővölk és varrás. Nagyon szép cosplayei vannak, nagyon részletes cosplayei vannak. Soha nem tanult varni, mindent magától tanult meg, úgyhogy aki gondolkodik a cosplay készítésben, az most álljon neki, mert láthatjátok, milyen zseniális szintre lehet vele fejlődni. Több nemzetközi versenyen is zsűrizett már, a Gamesconon és a Cosplay Gatheringen például. Továbbá tudni érdemes még róla, hogy a Kohaku nemzetközi cosplay magazinnak a főszerkesztője is, és ez elérhető angol és német nyelven is, úgyhogy olvassatok és okuljatok, fejlődjetek, gyertek versenyezni!
Erre megy ki az egész, gyertek versenyezni! Tapsoljatok! Harmadik zsűritagunk pedig Don Esteban, aki mindössze 5 éve cosplayezik, viszont a tavalyi Eurocosplayen ő nyerte meg az egészet, ő lett az első helyezett, büszkék vagyunk rá. És nagyon csúnyán néz rám, mert az Eurocosplayen tavaly, én képviseltem Magyarországot, teljesen mindegy, viszont ő egy ilyen teljesen kificamított térddel, egy ilyen teljes lábas térdvédővel jött, így ment egész nap, a barátnője vitte utána az összes cuccát. Nagyon ügyesen megoldották, mert felhúzták eddig a csizmát, és innen meg betekerték véres fáslival, hogy hát a Witcher megsérült.
Rengeteg cucca van egyébként, szóval megkérdeztem, hogy vitte ezt ki Londonba, és így nehezen.
Nagyon nehezen, de gyakorlatilag utána postázták a cuccot, mert nem tudták hazavinni. És szeretném megkérni, hogy elmutogassa nekem, hogy hogyan sérült meg a térde úgy, hogy majdnem nem is tudott eljönni az Eurocosplayre. So please, Stefan, show me how you dislocated your knee.
She's evil, yes.
Show me. Yes, I told the story.
She already told the story, you have to show us, because all of the audience is now interested.
Show me. Yes. Ez volt a teljesen komoly baleset, amiben annyira kiugrott a térde, hogy majdnem nem tudott eljönni.
It's not the proudest moment of my life.
But certainly the best.
Szóval, leültél? Most is leülök.
Én már pozícióban vagyok, kezdhetünk.
Kicsit félek azért. Szóval,
So,
how are you?
I think we are all very fine. We had a good day up to this moment. We got to judge amazing costumes and see amazing people, and we're really excited to see what else this convention has to offer.
a little bit in details, Nana?
I have to say I had a lot of fun here already because I know so many people here in Hungary and you have so many amazing cosplayers and I was so happy to meet some of them again in the competition. And I always love to see them on stage because you really try to make good performances and I'm so happy about that.
Thank you so much.
Really awesome cosplayers here, definitely. So many Vikings I saw already. Hope to see them later again. They get a beer together or something, or some meat.
Yeah,
I
let's
guess.
take some pictures together. They would be so amazing.
Beer together with Vikings, skål. Yeah. Okay, you were here judging, not for the first time of your life. So, what are the main points you judge about? Like, you
Which
go
one is your
into
favorite?
details, yes, favorites, details, weeks, collector similarity. Which do you pay more attention to?
I especially like to pay attention to props, or when someone makes like swords or weapons, or he pays attention to details when there's like bags or like a brooch or something. You can really see how much detail is put in there and how much reference was researched for it, because you actually dig a little deeper if you want to find like the small details, so you can really see which cosplayer took the time to do thorough research.
I specialized more in how to present the character. I really take care about the wig and the makeup. This is very, very important for me. And also how you present the character when you come in the judge's room and how you talk about the character. And if you really know the character, this is very, very important for me because I personally think when you're a cosplayer, you represent a character. This is what some people forget. And that's why it's very important for me that you can also represent the character on the stage. That's why I love to be here, because you have good performances.
So how much time do you give me to answer this question? Because I could talk about this for ages. No, but okay, I will try to keep it short. Well, I really love working with textiles, sewing, embroidery. This is something I really pay attention to because it's what I do most when I create a costume. And I think props and armor are amazing, but I especially think that sewing has become some kind of forgotten skill. So I really like to pay attention to how well a costume is sewn, what the proportions of a costume look like, and how neatly it is crafted. But I also think that it's important to overall represent the character. A costume hasn't to be perfectly neat. I think it's important that you really represent the character as a whole, that you have the confidence of a character, the sassiness of a character, that you really walk into the judge's room and show us that you are the character you're cosplaying as.
Thank you so much.
And she really looked under every skirt, I can prove that.
I did that, yes. I asked before that, though.
Igazából megfogott minden cosplay, so I will show you what you're doing in the judges room. Like, oh, okay, itt is le van festve. So the fabric is painted in both sides. It's really, yeah. Aigue-Marine approves.
So, what was the weirdest thing that someone said to you in a convention?
You really want to know that? I don't think it's a good idea to ask
PG-13,
this question.
PG-13.
Children. The children can come to the convention, so keep it in. Yeah.
Do you have an idea? Because I think something came to my mind. It was both weird and nice, but I was dressed as Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones, and I was at MCM Expo in London, and I was just walking through the dealer's room, and all of a sudden a mother came up to me and pressed her baby into my arms, and she was like, "Khaleesi, hold my baby." So that's something that happened to me. I've held a lot of babies in my life, especially in my Disney costumes, but the Khaleesi, hold my baby moment was really intense.
I still try to find something I can say on the stage. So give me a little bit more time.
Well, the weirdest things for me, which actually is an honor, is when people come to me and talk like to me in like 5 minutes and this and that, and then afterwards I find out they thought they were actually talking to mall cosplay. So it's an honor actually, I think.
Okay, I think the weirdest thing I can say on the stage, I was at a convention in Austria and I wore my Elsa cosplay from Frozen. And there was a daddy coming with his little girl who had a shirt with Elsa on it. She was so happy to meet me, and we made a picture together with the father and the daughter, and the father grabbed my ass. And later, he asked for my phone number.
Please no.
And if I do escort service.
Ew.
That was very weird. But I have more stories I can tell you tomorrow in my workshop.
Cosplay is not consent, you know that?
No, it's not. Okay, I would like to ask that I'm really interested. You are both experienced cosplayers. What was your first cosplay? Ever first?
Would you like to start with that?
Okay. Well, my first cosplay wasn't really a cosplay. It was like Jedi robes, and I was walking around with some Star Wars groups doing charity stuff. Actually, my first cosplay ever was an anime cosplay from Fairy Tail.
You Fairy Tail. Oh my God, you Fairy Tail.
I did Laxus Treya with his purple shirt and the big cloth. Was fun.
The Thunder Dragon Slayer.
My very first cosplay was Ares from Final Fantasy VII. It was terrible, and you don't want to see pictures of it, believe me.
Speaking of terrible first costumes, I think at this point I have to say that I've been cosplaying for 15 years this December, so for an incredibly long time. And back in the day when I started cosplay, people were still taking pictures of these cosplays with like analog cameras, like, you know, the cameras where you take pictures and then have to develop them and then you have to scan them to upload them to the internet. That's when I started cosplaying. And my first cosplay was from Naruto, of course. And it was the character Haku. Some of you might know him, her, yeah, them. But yeah, that was my first costume back in 2004.
Oh my God.
Köszönjük.
So, is there anything in cosplay that took you like a lot of time, too many time to figure out, and it would be so easier if someone just told you that you have to do this right this way, and you want to share it with the group? So maybe, I don't know, how to zigzag with the sewing machine or something that you didn't realize for a long time and it was very simple. You have to think about it.
Well, I think it's not an answer for a specific topic, but like a general answer is always seek advice, because when I'm stuck with something, I am proud. I try to do everything myself. I try to do it with YouTube or anything, learn it by myself, but it's really so much easier. Just write someone if you saw him doing this already, and they're always glad to give advice, and that's my experience. So I got more open-minded in the last years, and I try to talk more to people, build up this small community of yours, like the people, your network, the crafters, and you know, if I have a painting problem, I know who I go to. If I have a sewing problem, I know who I go to and I speak to. So build up your own network of expertise friends.
I think what's really important when it comes to making cosplay is that, especially when you're a self-taught person, you shouldn't have the wish to make everything in a very professional way, because there is no right way to receive or achieve a goal in cosplay. If you don't like working with store-bought patterns, don't work with store-bought patterns. If you prefer working with foam instead of warbler, just do it. I'd say just do cosplay your way, because there's no wrong way in doing cosplay or crafting. I'd say that's my answer.
I don't know what I should say else. I feel a little bit like... I buy the most of my cosplays or get them as a sponsor, so I'm very happy about this. But when I sit down and really make a cosplay by myself, it takes like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months until it's finished, because I'm really try to make it perfect. And when I do something by myself, I have sometimes this moment where I take the whole cosplay, put it in a corner and say, I hate you, I need to do it again. That's why it takes so long. So I think the best way to prove your skills is to do it again and again and again and again and again. And never give up.
That's the most important thing in cosplay.
Yeah, cosplay breakdowns are a real thing, and they are threatening me every time, like 2 or 3 times during I make my cosplays. So.
I think we've all been there.
Yeah, you have to stay positive.
I did my Aries cosplay 5 times. Yeah, it's just a
5?
dress, and I did it 5 times. Because first the fabric was not right. I wanted it has a different flow when I'm working. You know, I'm a little bit stupid sometimes in my head.
No, it's not
So I made it
stupidity.
5 times until it flows like I want it.
Like 5 times from scratch? Or
Sorry?
5 times from scratch? Or 5
times with another fabric.
with another
So
fabric?
if you need a cosplay of Aries, tell me. I have enough at home.
Thank you so much. Okay, so let's ask. What was your funniest cosplay experience? No, you have to tell another story than the Eurocosplay one.
So, well, we're a group of friends, men, and we all have like girlfriends and wives, and we sometimes figured out all our girlfriends and wives, they have all the Disney princesses. So one day at the convention, we like borrowed all those Disney cosplays, and we put them on ourselves. So we were a full group of full-grown men, Disney princesses, everyone with a full beard. And we were walking down. I was Ariel, by the way. It felt amazing with the high heels and everything. And we were walking down the long corridor, really good looking from behind, of course. And this small little girl ran after us. And she was like, "Oh, Disney princess." And then we all turned around at the same time. I think she was scarred for life.
I think that too, sorry. Okay, we lost Paszuly, but you can process.
It's very hard to choose just one moment because I had so many funny moments in my cosplay life, which is like yours, very long. Yeah.
I get the hint.
Yeah. But I think one of my funniest moments was actually as I wear my Link cosplay. It was a gender bend cosplay, you know. And I had so much fun at this day because I was annoying all my friends so often. I jump in their pictures or I sneak in them, you know, behind somewhere in the location. I annoyed them so much. I had so much fun at this day. It was so great.
A funny moment. Well, I already told you the Khaleesi hold my baby story. What else is there? To be honest, I cannot really think of something right now, but sometimes when you wear your costume and when you're in a public space that is maybe close to the convention, but not the convention itself, sometimes I really sit down like at a Starbucks coffee and there's a full group of people cosplaying from Dragon Age Inquisition, all just holding on to their Starbucks mugs. And sometimes in moments like this, I'm like, okay, is this real? And this is something quite funny, when you sometimes put the characters you cosplay as into the weird public situations you're in. But except for that, something funny, probably many, but I cannot come up with anything at the moment, sorry.
We have a Burger King nearby, and they are so used to cosplayers by now.
They are not even surprised, like, oh, it's you again.
Oh, this time of the year again.
That time of the year again, yeah.
So, how do you choose the characters you cosplay?
Oh, you try. Yeah, you go first. I should go first? Okay. This is a difficult question, but I really have to identify or be able to identify with the characters I cosplay as. So most characters I cosplay as fall into the category of strong female characters. Besides the background story and the personality of the character, I also have the setting and, of course, the costume I'm making. That's usually the approach I take. Do I like the source material? Do I like the character and the personality? And do I like the costume? This is usually how I approach my projects.
Yeah. When I choose my cosplays, I do it very similarly to you. I always try to find characters who fits me and have a similar personality. But with the cosplay I wear today, it's a little bit different because it's from a game. I don't know if you know Azulain, I have no idea how to spell it. Oh, there is someone perfect. And at least one person.
No, there's more over there. Look, they're raising their hands.
Yeah? Oh, yeah, I see.
Yeah.
I see. Oh, perfect, great. And the character I wear today is actually a ship. Yeah, it's a ship. A ship, I'm a ship, yeah. You don't see it? I'm a ship.
This is the sail. Look, this is the
Careful
sail.
with your sword.
Yeah, this is the sail. And yeah, it's Kaga, yeah. And for that game, it's actually not really necessary how the characters are because they're just ships. That's all. Ships in pretty designs. And as long as I really love characters with ears and Japanese style and kimonos, so I choose this character. Yeah.
Well, for me, it's like I have to like the character, and then I want to cosplay it usually. So it does not really matter where it comes from. Like anime characters, I do Goku, I do JoJo from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I just have to love the characters. The only thing is, I also love my beard, so I have to time it very wisely. So if I do the shave, there will be like the next 1 month will only be beardless characters, and then I will grow my beard again.
It takes so long to grow?
No, until I have this
Oh,
the good-looking beard again.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I forgot, but just a minute, I will come up with. Yes, yeah. You travel a lot around the world. How do you pack your cosplays? It's an important thing because I only came from 2 districts away, and I have this huge pack, and yeah, I'm always afraid that I will break something. And
Who would like to start? Would you like to start? I think
you have
traveling for
packing
you is
magic.
the hardest.
I know.
Yeah, usually I only like to go by car because I know my cosplays will break or something will go missing. But I had to go by plane to Eurocosplay, of course, and it's like the worst ever. I made a box out of wood and I reinforced it with metal and I put so much padding in there that it's possible. And when I opened the box at Eurocosplay, it was like, yeah, fuck. Yeah, when everyone was going out on Friday or having fun, I was sitting there with my glue and fixing everything. Yeah. But it was nice. I made a lot of friends there because it was, yeah, I need to fix my stuff. Yeah, go to the Austrian guy. He has like the fixing stuff.
You have
I think we met like you were sitting in the ground, gluing something, and I was like, oh, I want to talk with that guy. He looks busy.
I think a lot of cosplayers who go to conventions start on one point to choose cosplays for conventions and cosplays for shootings. I have a lot of cosplays I take to convention because they are comfy and I can fit them in my luggage. This is very important. For this character, actually, she has 9 tails, very big ones, but I don't bring them to conventions because it's very hard to move around with them. I always kick someone. Most of the time, I don't want this. And yeah, it's very hard to pack it. So I just bring the cosplay like this, and actually no one really noticed that I don't have my 9 tails. No one check it.
Because you're not a ship right now.
Well, for me, the secret to everly traveling cosplay is probably getting like a hardcover suitcase first, because it's the best way to travel. And besides that, all of my cosplay suitcases are like babushka dolls, because it's a suitcase and there's a box and a box and a box in it. Because when you have to travel with a styled wig like this one, you cannot just put the wig into a wig net and into a bag and just put it in your suitcase. It's not possible. So my suitcase is usually bag in a bag in a bag. So nothing gets squished or nothing breaks. But just like Nana said, I've started selecting between photo shooting or convention costumes I can wear to local conventions where I'm going to with the car, or conventions I travel to abroad where I have to select my costumes more carefully because our space is limited and we also need regular clothes.
Paszuly. So, do you want to answer questions from the people?
Yeah, sure. If the audience has questions,
Szeretnétek
bring them,
kérdezni?
we're ready.
Szeretnétek kérdezni a zsűritől? Bármit, amin valaha elgondolkoztatok, vagy egy tapasztaltabb cosplayes hozzáállását, véleményét, esetleg ők mit éltek át, valami vicceset? Valaki? Ott van már egy kérdés.
Ez az.
Niko, ugorj le.
Jövök, ugrok.
De szaltózzál.
Nem, az majd holnap majd lelebegek. Mit szólsz?
Lelebegsz.
Így van, in karakter.
Oh.
You can ask us everything you want. Raise your hands.
But PG-13.
Why do you choose a character from Azur Lane?
Because they have so many great designs, and my husband is playing it, and he told me this ship fits you, and I say, it's a ship, how can it fit me? Yeah, I don't know, but this character reminds me of you, and I say, okay. So I made the cosplay.
Kaga is a favorite character.
Sorry?
Kaga is my favorite character from Azur Lane.
Oh, so I choose a very good one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? I made it well, is it okay? Yeah. Thank you.
Valaki? Gyertek.
Ne legyetek félénkek.
Úristen,
Nem harapnak, meg messze vannak amúgy is.
Visszahallom magam a hangfalból, és borzasztó.
Akkor fordulj meg.
Ez az.
Hi. So, how you choose your team member when you want to do a cast or a team of two?
You mean when we want to make a group cosplay?
Yes.
I think the importantest part is that you have someone you really like, even when you work with them, because sometimes you can get problems with friends when you start to work on a specific project. And I think it's also very important that you don't miss the fun with this person. It's always important to have fun when you make a group cosplay. A lot of people forget that. Cosplay also can be fun when you do a group cosplay.
If you don't find someone that want to cosplay with you, if you have a specific character that you want to team with, and you don't find anyone that you related, someone that you already know that want to do this character, what will you do next?
Well, I usually just go on the internet and look if I can find somebody else who has done the character already, and I just approach them. I think a very important thing in cosplay is the phrase, if you don't ask, you don't get. Because I see many cosplayers and they say, oh, I would love to take pictures with this cosplayer because they are so awesome, but I'm too shy to approach them. Or I would like to take pictures with this photographer, but I'm too shy to approach them. Just ask them. You have nothing to lose. I mean, what can they say to you except for, oh, sorry, I'm busy, or sorry, I cannot make it to this con. Just go for a cosplayer you can find on the internet and ask them to team up with you. And most of the time, people will say yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Még valaki? Onnan hátulról is jöhettek, meg tudok fordítani, hogyha nem tudtok angolul kérdezni. Gyere!
Somebody's approaching from the shadows.
Hi. I would like to hear your thoughts about gender-bend cosplays. If you would.
Oh, okay.
Gender-bend. When you...
Yeah. You want to start?
Well, I have no experience in gender bend yet, but I did crossplay, as I mentioned before, actually, when I was wearing the Ariel dress. But, well, I think it all depends on the design, I guess. If you transfer the design to your liking, I think it's totally fine.
Yeah, I think there's actually not a big problem with it. I most of the time like the gender bender cosplays because I know this feeling when there are male characters. I really want to cosplay, but there are guys. And then I think about how can I switch it into a girl character. I have the problem with Kirito from Sword Art Online. I really like Kirito, his character and his design and everything, but I'm a girl. And I was thinking, how can I make this character? And then there was the second season with Gangia Online where he looks like a girl, so I probably will do this. I think there's nothing bad in doing gender bend. If you really want to do it, just do it.
I absolutely agree. I think every type of cosplay is absolutely valid, and I think it's up to you to decide whether you want to do a gender-fitting or a gender-bent version of the character you're cosplaying as. I think you have to ask yourself, do I want to represent the character of the male or female gender, of my own, or of another gender? But it's perfectly fine.
Sorry, just attendant question. Do you think in competitions the gender-bent cosplay is judged the same way as so-called normal cosplay?
I think it really depends on the competition, because most of the time gender-bent versions are fan arts, and it really depends on whether a cosplay competition allows fan arts of a series or a source material, or if they don't. And if the competition is very open to fan art versions, just go for it and cosplay it. But if they're a little bit more strict, you cannot represent it. But for me personally, it's fine. It really depends on the type of competition, I'd say.
I totally agree with that.
Same here.
De jól agree. Kövi? Valaki? Szuper. Ne felejtsd el.
Hello. Do you have a character in mind that you would never cosplay? Do you have a character in your mind that you would never
Let
ever
us think. Let us think.
Yeah, oh, okay.
Any character we would never cosplay?
It's hard. I really like to try out stuff.
Who I would never cosplay? Like Ramsay Bolton from Game of Thrones. I totally hate him. He's such a dick, really.
And you will have to shave if you do it.
Yeah, that's true. That makes it even worse.
For me, it's like morally questionable source material. That's something I would never cosplay. Like, let's say, for example, if there was a show about the Second World War. This is, for example, a character I would never cosplay as, like somebody dressed in like a National Socialist uniform. That's a total no-no in general, I think.
In the past, when someone asked me this question, I always say Naruto cosplays because I don't like Naruto. But I did one last year and this year because I start to rewatch it and start to realize, okay, the characters are good. So, yeah, I actually have no idea right now, but I'm sure there is a character out there I don't like and will never cosplay. But right now I can't really think about one, I'm sorry. Du kommst ja nur daher, weil du Deutsch sprichst.
Gar nicht wahr. Nein. First of all, servus eben, Don, servus. What is, in your opinion, the best about traveling to conventions, in the case outside from Austria, and yeah?
I think it's the best thing on traveling when you're a cosplayer is that you can meet a lot of great people. You have the opportunity to meet so many people you would maybe never met if you were not a cosplayer and were going to conventions. I met so many great people here in Hungary always when I was here and always make new friendships and we always, I don't know, I always feel so happy when I can go to a convention and I know, okay, they're my friends, they're waiting of me. And maybe I can make new friendships, yay! So this is very something what really warms up my heart. I'm so happy about that.
Yeah.
It's really nice to see familiar faces again that you met earlier, or people who know me know that I like to talk about my social stuff a lot, and I like to meet new people. And for me, traveling to other conventions is the great opportunity to finally meet them, like take pictures and everything. So,
you mean when you meet your idols and all this stuff, right?
Yeah?
Yeah, I feel like this always when I'm in Hungary, but Angie is not here right now. I'm very sad.
Well, aside from the opportunity that you really get to know people from all around the globe and that you sometimes get to meet cosplayers you've been admiring for ages or photographers you've been admiring for ages, you also get the opportunity to make friendships. And we were only talking about that yesterday because of the fact that I'm a cosplayer, I have friends around the globe, like literally. I could go to any city in Europe and would know somebody there. And that's something that's really amazing, how this hobby and how being a nerd and how being a part of this community really brings people from all over the globe together, despite their race, their religion, which country they're in. And I think that's a really amazing thing about being allowed to travel, to make all these experiences.
Completely understand it. Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Hi, I want to ask, what is your favorite cosplay? When you put your costume on, you feel powerful or just great and enjoy it?
Yeah, that's a really difficult question, but I think you already answered it yourself. The moment you put on a costume, you really feel like the character you cosplay as, which is great. And my cosplay makes me really confident, especially when I'm wearing the character of as I already said, strong female character. It's great to just put the costume on, feel empowered, feel strong, feel badass or pretty when you're a princess. Wearing cosplay is great.
Yeah, I understand. It fits great being a princess.
Right?
Yeah,
being pretty is cool.
Were you asking about the specific cosplay we put on, or just how we feel when we put on the cosplay?
How you feel, or if you put the character cosplay on, your favorite character, and you feel, how do you feel when you put your favorite character's costume on? Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, because there's one cosplay for me. It's like Son Goku from Dragon Ball. I've been a big fan of Dragon Ball, like from tiny me. And I always loved him, I admired him. I still watch Dragon Ball Super, and it was a time where I had a rough phase and also managed to do a body transformation, live healthier and stuff. And so I was finally able to do the Son Goku cosplay I always wanted to do, and that felt really great. Finally be the hero of your childhood yourself. It was an awesome feeling.
For me, it's my Asuka cosplay from Neon Genesis Evangelion. It doesn't matter if I wear my plug suit or my school uniform. Always when I dress up as Asuka, I feel very this tsundere, badass character inside me. And yeah, I really feel well when I wear her. It's one of my favorite cosplays.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Great question.
Oké, valaki még kérdés?
Oh, there's another question. Somebody's walking towards the stage.
We're searching for questions. Raise your arms.
So, do you have stage fright? And if you do, how do you combat? So, how do you cope with stage fright? God.
No, not really. Because I think everyone will forget it someday when I say something stupid on the stage. I'm just a person who is sitting on the stage for this weekend, so it's fine. I don't really mind.
I actually had stage fright when I started to do things like went up on stage, but I realized for myself that was a performance which was not well practiced. But from other experience, when you practice a lot, like my Geralt skit, I did like for weeks until all the sword blows were on spot like I wanted them with the timing. There is no stage fright because you're totally in a different zone because you're totally just doing the rhythm that you learned and practiced.
Practice is key. That's what I'd say as well. When you go on stage and you know that you are very well prepared, it really gives me a huge relief. Besides that, when I do a performance, I try to minimize things that might possibly go wrong. I mean, as nice as it is to have, like, I don't know, like an exploding book or a nice special effect, if you're not 100% sure that it's going to work, don't do it. And what also helps is the fact that the light is so intense, you cannot see anybody in the audience, not really. And I always tend to focus on a point, like at the end of the hall, like over there, over the heads of the audience. And it's something that really helps me, just focus on the point and deliver.
Oké, még valakinek kérdése? Kezeket, futások. Anybody else?
Sorry, this is a question for you, Gerard of Rivia, yes. Because I really like The Witcher, it is my favorite game, so why choose Gerard character and how long it takes, the costume?
I was a Witcher fan, like before the third game. I saw the concept art for this armor and I was like, this is amazing, I totally love it. I saw the fur and everything. Fur is totally my thing, this looks so badass, I totally love it. And when I saw the concept art, I was like, I want to fucking do this. But when I saw, it was like 4 years ago, I think, when it came out, or 3 years ago, I did not have the skills to do it. So I laid the plans away, did some other cosplays, and years later I saw, okay, I got more skills, I think I can do this now. And then I really dig into all the references and stuff, like I was already a big Witcher fan, so it was not that big of a deal. I started working on it, and over a year, like I always improved stuff. First time I made those out of foam, and then I did this meditation thing where he goes to the shin guards, and then like everything was broken, of course, because it's just painted foam and was wrinkled and stuff. Sorry. So I made them out of metal so that I could really do the meditation stuff like Witcher, and over the time took like over a year, always improving stuff, and until I was finally satisfied with everything.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, még
Valaki?
van,
There's another question.
Ott még?
Yeah.
Na, ott.
Gyertek előrébb.
There's a question.
Oké.
And-
És akkor te meg itt be tudsz állni sorba.
Me again. I would like to ask you, how did you start your career as a cosplayer? You buy the cheaper cosplay, or?
I'll start with this question because when I started cosplay, there was many years ago. And back in the day when I started cosplay, you couldn't buy cosplay. It was impossible. You couldn't just go on the internet on Amazon and buy cosplay there because it wasn't available. The only source where you could have bought a costume was Japan, and importing costumes from Japan was ridiculously expensive. So I had no other choice but to actually make the costumes myself. And I approached my grandmother, who knows how to sew, and I asked her to help me to make my first costume. And she showed me some basic skills in pattern making. I already knew how to work with a sewing machine from school, and she showed me really basic skills in pattern making, but quickly lost patience with me. So I started researching and just making costumes my own, by myself, with a lot of trial and error. Yeah, and that's how I got to this point.
My first cosplay, my first version of Eris, was made with a friend together. I remember we made the dress together, and the jacket was an old jeans one I had. We adapted a little bit, and then we added some foam to make it looking shiny armor, and that was not working at this time because no one had practice with it. And I remember it was the first time that I tried to style a wig. It was the first time in my life, and I tried to make Aries with this very high wig stuff, and it was so terrible. When I think about it, it's like, don't look at me. But I was so proud of it and was so happy as it was done, and felt like the prettiest person on earth as I wore it. I remember that very well. It was a good time.
Sorry, I think I have to add, for my first costume, I dyed my hair because there were no wigs available.
Yeah, she wore the cooler one. I wish I would do that.
I think it's always a good idea if you want to start with something that you like, buy something or borrow something, because you have to get the feeling walking around at a convention in a costume. It's something you never did before, probably. So it's a good start for this. And then problem now is the level of craftsmanship is already really high. So when I started, it was already kind of high. So expectations to yourself will probably be a little higher than it was years ago. Don't let that get you down. Just do the thing you want to do. Be satisfied with the thing you can achieve, and document everything what you do. Like, this is your first cosplay, but this cosplay, the 10th cosplay can only be the 10th cosplay because you made the first cosplay. So just do everything and try to improve over the time.
And I think you can learn a lot when you buy cosplays or get cosplays from friends and adapt them, fitting to your body. You can learn a lot. It's good for the first steps, and then you can start. I make the sweater by myself. I make the pants by myself. I make the skirt by myself. But so you already got some practice in doing something, small things, and then you can grow bigger and bigger, and then you stay there with armor.
Thank you.
Oké, ott láttam még valakit, egy utolsót, itt az Alucard volt, azt hiszem? Nem, te voltál. Jó, akkor gyere, utolsó kezd. Last question. Last question. Come on, guys.
From Alucard.
Hey, so question about materials. Do you have a favorite material you like to work with? What is your most hated one, the one you just can't do anything with? And how do you actually purchase every material you want to work with?
Don't wait for me. I adapt the most of my stuff, so I don't really have a favorite material, but a friend of mine bought me a form clay, and I start to try it out. It's cool. It reminds me about my childhood as I played with Play-Doh. It's cool. I like it.
Well, the material I really love working with is just textiles in general. Sewing, embroidery, working with textiles is what I like best. It really gives me joy, and I usually buy the materials around my area. That's what at least I try. But sometimes I cannot find anything, so I have to order fabrics online, which I find really difficult because I really like being able to feel the texture of a fabric before I start working with it. But yeah, I mostly try to source it in my area. If I cannot find it, I buy it online. I also really like scavenging things, like putting all things apart or using leftover materials is something I really like. A material I personally would never work with is metal, like you did. It's insane. I don't have the tools for it, and I have to admit that I'm also not a very big fan of Warbler, but I think I just lack patience.
For me, it's like I have this rule. Every new cosplay I do, I need to use at least one new material or one new technique, so I learn something new about it. So over the time, I got to work with a lot of material. And over the last year, I found my I don't know, my guilty pleasure, I guess. It's real leather, because it's super fun to work with, because you make those patterns, you already make the holes inside, and then you just sit on the couch, watch Netflix stuff, and you sew everything by hand afterwards. It's really relaxing. The only thing is it's expensive, of course, real leather, so every time I'm somewhere at fabric shops or second-hand stuff and I see cheap leather, I just buy it. So I'm hoarding leather at home, and most of the time it will be used for some cosplays in the future.
Awesome, thanks.
Thank you. Köszönjük szépen a részvételeteket, és nagyon-nagyon sok kérdést. És ne menjetek sehova, mert már is következik a következő programunk, amit Dave fog nektek majd ismertetni, és thank you so much for your participation in this question and day.
You can go now.
Thank you.
You are free to...
I'm coming with you.